Good evening and welcome to our first virtual Year 7 transition presentation. My name is Matt Gauthier and I am the head teacher at Samuel Ryder Academy. Later you'll be hearing from Matt Pope, assistant head teacher in charge of transition and linked with Year 7, and Mr Hock, the head of Year 7. We have three main aims for our presentation this evening. The first, to outline our vision at Samuel Ryder. The second, to outline our expectations of our students. And thirdly, to provide practical information to help ensure a smooth transition for your child. And of course, there will be contact information at the end of the presentation should you have any further questions. There are two main parts to the Samuel Ryder vision. The first is to provide a transformational educational experience that will enable all students to fulfil their potential. The second, to provide a wide and extensive range of opportunities to students that allows them to be the leaders of tomorrow, making a contribution to their local, national and global communities. Underpinning our vision are our values, and these are represented by the Samuel Ryder A.C.E, which stands for Achievement, Care and Excellent Standards. Achievement in all its forms, whether that be academic, artistic, sporting or cultural. Care for others in our school and wider community, and excellent standards in terms of manners, integrity, appearance and uniform, which we do think is important, and you will hear more about that later. As well as the values I have outlined, as a school we also strongly believe in the work of Professor Carol Dweck and the importance of having a growth mindset. Her research demonstrates that intelligence is not fixed and can grow with hard work, resilience and dedication. There is much more on this on the internet if you are interested, but it is a philosophy that we talk about with the students and promote the qualities and attributes needed. I'll now pass you on to Mr Pope.
Thank you, Mr Gauthier, and welcome everyone. On this next slide, we're going to talk about the curriculum provision here at Samuel Ryder. Students typically experience 6 50-minute lessons per day, and this is throughout Key Stage 3. And we offer a broad and balanced curriculum to ensure that at the end of Key Stage 3 they're in a position to be able to make an informed judgment about those option choices for GCSE. I appreciate that seems a long way off at the moment, but it's important that you understand the processes that we go through here. Also at the Academy we offer a wide and varied extracurricular programme, and something that we challenge all the new students joining us is to attend at least 2 clubs per week per term minimum. So what you can see here is a typical extracurricular programme for each term that we offer here at Samuel Ryder Academy. There's well over 40 clubs that we offer throughout each term for a wide range of age groups, with the idea being to offer a real breadth to outside the classroom experiences for our children. Typically some of these clubs will change at the end of each term. These are dependent on seasonal changes. For example, we transfer from rugby season to football season at Christmas, and that's usual around the district area. By students participating through extracurricular activities, they have the opportunity of gaining recognition through our school colours system. Typically a child who shows dedication and commitment over a period of sustained time within that club will be recognised through this programme. New technology is fully utilised here at Samuel Ryder Academy and supports our innovative approach to teaching and learning. The whole site is extensively networked and all staff are frequently trained and updated. We work collaboratively with a number of other members to maximise every child's potential. Our network is also fully secure, so rest assured while your child is in school, they are protected. Of course, at home with you guys, that ownership then passes to you for your security settings for your broadband provider. As I'm sure you're aware, students here at Samuel Ryder all receive an iPad to aid their teaching and learning within the classroom setting. Obviously, secondary school brings an enhanced amount of responsibility anyway, with the transition from Year 6, and this is no different with this device. Each day students are expected to attend school with their iPad fully charged, with the Samuel Ryder case on, and obviously the wear and tear and looking after the device is primarily under the child's supervision. So it's really important that you help them, as will we, to ensure that they maintain this device for its optimal use in teaching and learning and within their lessons. We charge an annual contribution currently standing at £38 per academic year to loan the device from us. On this next slide you can see one of the many apps we use here at Samuel Ryder. This one is called Seesaw. As an academy we utilise these apps to support primarily our teaching and learning. Seesaw is a great app for both connecting your subject teacher and students within the class setting also. Typically, teachers will post homework, extra resources, some examples of video clips of how to complete specific tasks. For example, in art, they very often record the teacher performing a particular technique, which the child then can access as and when they're required to support their learning and work at their own pace. Students are also encouraged to post their work here if directed by the teacher, and both the teacher and their peers can then read and review and offer feedback as appropriate. Be rest assured that this group interaction is controlled by the class teacher. Microsoft OneDrive. This provides a place for us to store and sync all the school files and work that we provide, but also for your child's provision. This live platform has also proved invaluable for supporting home learning, particularly at this time. On this slide, you can see the folder app logo. This is a recent Apple app. It provides users with access to their school files, typically saved in the My Documents section folder within their school PC. Students can then draw down these specific files from a particular lesson, work on them through a range of associated apps, and then resave that work back up into the relevant folder without even having to be on school site. Again, this creates flexibility for our students and also helps them manage life outside of school. On this next slide, you can see the Edulink One app. This is our number one way now of communicating between school and parents regarding your child's progress. There are a wide range of documents that you will be able to access 24/7 on areas such as attendance, home learning, the school timetable, school reports, and those all important conduct points that your child will hopefully achieve. This next slide also gives you a more detailed breakdown of what you can expect to see through the app to reassure you, though, only parents and guardians will only be able to access their own child's account. For those with siblings, you just simply need to switch profile from the homepage. Login details would have been sent out recently with your password on it. Many of you have already accessed that, which is fantastic. But for those last few that haven't, please can I urge you to validate your account. You have 2 weeks from when the password arrived into your email account before it's invalid. If you do require any further support or help with accessing the Edulink, then please email in at technicalassistance@samuelryderacademy.co.uk. I'm now going to hand over to Mr. Hock, your head of year.
Thank you, Mr. Pope, for your introduction. Hello, my name is Mr. Hock. I will be the head of Year 7 in September. Having been head of year at Samuel Ryder Academy for the last 4 years and being a former student of the school, I can assure you that students will be supported every step of their way in their transition from Year 6 to Year 7, but also through their secondary education. The Form Tutor is your first port of call with any questions you have regarding your child. 9 times out of 10, they will be able to provide an answer, and if not, will redirect you to the most relevant person. The Form Tutor will be a constant presence and will have an overview of your child's academic progress, well-being, behaviour and attendance. It's vitally important that if anything changes in home life, that you make your Form Tutor aware immediately. As a pastoral team, we have an overview of each child, and understanding the wider home context can very often help us support your child further. At Samuel Ryder Academy, we are committed to supporting all students to fulfil their behavioural and academic potential, and this slide outlines a support tree that is present from a pastoral perspective. As head of year, I work closely with my tutors, the inclusion team, and my senior link, Mr. Pope. The house system also plays an important part in supporting your child in a wider curriculum. Overall, we work in partnership with students, parents, governors, and a wider community to enable everyone to work at their best in a caring, friendly, encouraging and peaceful community. Every member of Samuel Ryder Academy community, staff and students are allocated to a house. We have 7 houses in total, all based around the theme of literacy and their contribution towards history. As house members, all students will have a wide range of opportunities to work together, compete against other houses and earn themselves house points in the process. Planets. Some students are taught in different form groups. However, for part of their timetable, students are taught in different groups to their form. These are known as planet groups and include areas such as maths, science, English, PE and design and technology. Some of these areas are also set in groups, and so this presents a third occasion for students to be taught in different groups to most of their form. This is typical and also provides another opportunity for students to make new friends. I will now pass you over to your child's form tutor.
My name is Miss Shirazi and I'm going to be Seven Kings form tutor. I've been at Samuel Ryder for the last 6 years. However, I haven't been a form tutor for the last 3. I'm very much looking forward to being a tutor again and being a part of your journey at Samuel Ryder Academy. I'd like to warn you that I've got very high expectations and standards, and I would always push for you to be the best you possibly can, and I expect you to do the same for me. I am also ever so slightly competitive, so I hope my competitive nature will feed into all of you all and you will embrace this. We will strive for excellence for academics, behaviour, attendance and during house events. I cannot wait to meet you all. Have an excellent summer, 7 King.
Here you can see the list of Year 7 tutor team. Please take note of the specific email contact details for your child's tutor. As I said, they are the first point of contact moving forward. I will now pass it over back to Mr. Pope.
Thank you, Mr. Hock. By now you've obviously been introduced to your form tutor, and Mr. Hock has outlined how the pastoral system can support your child here, but there are also many other ways in which you, the parent body, can support us to help support your child be the success we want them all to be. Home learning. So one of the questions I get often asked when we visit primary schools, and indeed recently on some of the Zoom conversations I've had with your child, we get asked about homework and the amount of homework, and it's one of their concerns. Well, look, rest assured here, for the first fortnight they won't receive any homework across the academy. The idea at the start is just to help them settle in, start to form those all important friendships, get used to their timetable and transitioning around the school site to a particular time day. As I said earlier, we have our 6 lessons. However, after week 3, they will start to receive homework from different teachers. And it's really important that as a family unit, you work together to establish the best routine for them to be successful with this part of their school life. Typically at home, if they're going to work from home, there needs to be the opportunity in the home environment where they can sit quietly and safely to be able to complete their tasks. My advice would be is to remove as many distractions as possible, certainly a mobile phone if your child has one, as very often a message from somebody can be that distraction which puts them off kilter from what they were actually focusing on. It's important at home that they realise striking a balance also to make sure that they don't spend an inert amount of time on each topic. Typically no more than 30 minutes in Year 7 is expected for each piece of work they receive, but some pieces of work will be completed much quicker, and on that rare occasion they may be a little bit longer, but that class teacher will make sure the child fully understands. I would also add that it's really important if you show an interest in what your child's homework actually involves. They find it quite interesting to see you take an interest in them, and of course that dialogue can only help improve their knowledge, and if there is anything that they're unsure of, you need to signpost them back to their class teacher who will be more than willing to support them. Here you can see we offer Homework Learning Club, which takes place on a Monday to Thursday in our school library from 3:30 until 5 p.m. This provision is on hand to help support those students who maybe would prefer to work within a school environment to complete their home learning before they head off for home for a wide number of reasons. If they choose to take up this option, all they have to do is at the start or the end of the day register with the librarian and enter the library and obviously sign out when they leave. But what's really important for you to help us is for you to be aware that's what their plan is. There's been a number of times where a child has taken themselves to the library, has not informed their parent, and consequently half an hour later we've got an upset parent trying to track down the missing child. So please have that discussion with your son or daughter, make sure you understand what the plan is and whether they're going to be coming home on that day, staying behind even for a club, or if they are going to use the home learning environment, then please make sure that you are aware. Occasionally, we have a few students who struggle with striking the balance between completing their home learning and actually wanting to socialise with their friends. And if we feel that actually they are getting that balance wrong, we can insist on compulsory homework club. This is a supportive measure just so that your child is given some strategies and tactics to help get them back on track with how to manage their time. This takes place in the inclusion teams department and runs from 3:30 until 4:30 Monday to Thursday. It is by invite only, so your head of year will be in touch if we feel your child would benefit from this additional support. Attendance is another area in which we really need your support to help us support your child achieve their potential. If I was to say to you you'd achieved 90% in the test, quite rightly you'd be really proud of that score and it would be a very high score indeed. However, 90% attendance actually equates to 4 whole school weeks missed in a calendar year. The slide you can see gives you an indication of what that would look like if that was the consistent pattern over a period of time during the secondary period. And as you can see from the chart, the impact of missing these days statistically will have a negative effect on your child's progress. The chance of them achieving their full potential in each of their 10 subjects drops around to 6%, to 6 subjects. A huge impact, I think you'll agree. That's why it's really important you ensure your child attends school every day. Indeed, time away from school really needs to be for the extraordinary reasons and not for minor ailments, holidays, weddings and other family occasions. For example, in primary school, I know that if a child experiences symptoms of sickness, then they are asked to stay at home for 48 hours. Here in secondary, we would rather that you make a judgment call and send them in, and we will do our very best to keep their learning going. Clearly, if the child is ill and does require medical assistance, then please seek the appropriate help, and also please collect a doctor's note for us. Alternatively, if they are feeling a little bit under the weather, then if you wish to send them in with some paracetamol, then we just need to make sure that student reception knows to be able to support them with this. This next slide focuses on punctuality. Your child does need to arrive at school on time every day and also to their lessons on time. The impact of them being only 5 minutes late but repeatedly is highlighted here. It is also essential that we prepare them for the world of work, and consequently they do need to develop positive habits, one of those being to arrive on work on time. These next few slides focus on school uniform here at Samuel Ryder Academy. Please can you take your time to ensure you fully read and understand the requirements we have here, and to obviously make the necessary provision, be that through Stevenson's by booking a slot so you can ensure your son or daughter has all the right equipment to make it a really successful and seamless start coming in September. If you require further guidance, this presentation will be up on the school website, but equally it's already been sent to you in your student information packs which you will have received at Easter time. I mentioned Stevenson's briefly. Obviously with the lockdown, they are now reopened and taking booking slots, and I would urge you to book as soon as you possibly can the relevant slot so that your child can be fitted out in correct fitting equipment. And don't forget to include the PE kit with that. As Mr. Gauthier mentioned earlier, the ACE is embedded here at Samuel Ryder Academy, and we're incredibly proud of all our young people and how they conduct themselves both in and off site. I just wanted to focus on a few particular areas just to avoid any confusion moving forward. Firstly, I'd like to talk about hair length. Here at the Academy, we're very clear that any child must not have a haircut lower than a grade 2. We also do not allow any lines being blended or bladed into the side of the head, and equally on eyebrows. If you are sending your child to the barbers unattended, then please make sure they give the correct message to the barber, because the number of times I have a child arrive saying, well, I told him this, and the reality was that they actually didn't pass that message on. Equally, we don't accept extreme contrasting styles of hair between long hair and short hair. It should be neat and tidy and appropriate for school environment. If your son or daughter does have long hair, we ask that it is tied up away out from the front of their face, typically in a hairband. With regards to hair colour, we expect the hair to be of a natural colour and natural to that person. School bags, it's really important that you provide your child with the correct equipment for September, but equally they need a supportive bag to carry with them. So please make sure that they have a suitable rucksack that will be able to carry the load on a busy day where they could potentially have 5 lessons of theory books, plus also a PE kit. They may even have a food tech ingredients bag to carry. So it's really important that they are kitted out safely to help them with their posture, as well as conducting themselves around school site. Just to clarify, handbags are not allowed on school site for any students whatsoever. No matter how much they might try to convince you, please do not send them in, because they will merely be confiscated. And we thank you for your support with this. Your son or daughter may have a piercing. Here at the Academy, the rules are very clear. Children are allowed to have one plain studded earring in either earlobe and no others. And they must be either of a bronze, gold or silver colouring. No glass inside, no bling, I believe the children call it. It needs to be a plain stud, please. If they do have other piercings, they need to be taped over or a piercing not actually put in on the day that they're in school. This next slide shows the footwear that's accessible for our brand new 3G pitch. It is a synthetic grass surface, 60 millimeters long, and so therefore it's really important that your child arrives with the right footwear to be able to access that great facility from September. We look for a screw-in stud, a moulded stud to the boot, are the only things that are acceptable on the surface. Trainers, AstroTurfs and blades are not allowed on the surface. So again, if you are going to be purchasing equipment over the summer holidays as they've grown, then please make sure you provide the appropriate footwear. Studded boots or moulded studs are also acceptable on the grass pitches when we play other sports. So that naturally there's no need to purchase 2 pairs, one will suffice between the both. But just to clarify, no AstroTurfs, no trainers and no blades are allowed on that surface. For further guidance, refer to the pack that was sent out with you and also attached to this presentation. Another way you can help out here at the Academy is join the Parent-Teacher Association. We have a thriving committee here who are constantly looking for new innovative ways to raise funds for the school environment. As an all-through school, we typically ensure that right from reception to year 13, opportunities never go amiss, and we try to share where possible so that everybody benefits from the great work that they do. If you do feel you have a few hours or some expertise that you may be able to offer, please get in touch. The further information will follow on the next few slides. As I said, here you can see some of the social media accounts that our PTA run. It'd be great if you could follow them. It helps you keep involved and keep aware of what's coming up so you can plan appropriately to be able to support. But equally, it may also give you that extra little bit of motivation to think I can do and I can contribute in some way. This next slide looks at some key date changes that you hopefully are now fully aware of what's happened. First of all, Transition Day was recently cancelled by Hearts County Council. And so we are, as a school, are doing our very best to ensure as seamless possible transition as we can make. Be rest assured that come September time, the things that we typically would have covered in early July with your child will just be picked up then by the tutor and the year group team. We have created a transition video which is up on our website as I speak, which you may wish, if you haven't already, to show your child, where I talk you through some of the key aspects of school life. And again, it maybe would help with that orientation side that they would have experienced on Transition Day. Again, it's just a stepping stone to support you. Unfortunately, the homework taste today had to be cancelled due to government guidelines. As you may be aware, we have a number of vulnerable students on school site as well as key worker children within their own unique bubbles, and it was just not practically possible to bring further people onto school site with the possibility of cross-contaminating. I hope you understand. But again, rest assured, we've built in that 2-week period at the start of the school year whereby they won't have any homework, and during for that fortnight their tutor will spend some time explaining how they could manage their time to ensure that from an organisational point of view they're fully ready to go. And lastly, the welcome barbecue. We're still hopeful that we'll be able to run this important event towards the end of September, but obviously we await further government guidelines on whether it would be safe to bring a number of people onto the school site in that type of environment. So further information will come out towards the end of the summer holidays regarding that. Looking forward to September. Your child's first day here is September the 2nd, and they need to arrive on site by 8:30. Whether they're coming from London Road entrance, from Drake's Drive entrance or the Nuffield entrance, they need to make their way to the main school hall. We'll have staff on hand to direct them in case they're unsure where to go, and that will be the point then where they will begin their transition process with their tutor and their head of year. On this day, they will be the only students on site along with secondary, and so therefore they will have a chance to become familiar with some of the basics that we offer here at Samuel Ryder, some of the logistical pathways around the school site, which is again trying to typically replicate the transition day experience they would have had in July. We will be offering a complimentary free lunch on this day for them, but you may want to plan in advance. The meal options are pasta bolognese or macaroni cheese, and if that is not to your son or daughter's liking, then please send them in with a packed lunch, as no other food will be available on that day for purchase. At the end of the school day, it is their first one. I'm sure they'll be excited, but probably tired. I'm sure you will be anxious and wanting to meet them. Please can I just remind you of a few things. First of all, the school car park is closed to parents. Secondly, please be mindful of our residents that live nearby. If you are arranging to pick your child up after school, please try and make it a safe distance away from the school site. And alternatively, if they are walking home or cycling home, just make sure that you've run through the route that they are going to take. As it's the first time, it's important that they are familiar with it. Typically the next day on the 3rd is when the rest of the school will be back, and obviously they will have a chance to again meet with their tutor, but at some point during that day they will start their secondary education timetable with us here. If you require any more further information regarding the transition process, then please log on to our school website, look for the drop-down menu of Join Us. Third option down, it says Transition into Secondary, and there you will find all the documents that are referred to today, along with the video and a copy of this presentation. On this last slide, you can see a number of ways in which you can stay connected with the school environment. Please take time to upload these onto your social media accounts so you can stay fully on top of all the exciting things that take place here at the Academy. If you do have any further questions regarding specifically transition, again, I'll direct you to the transition into secondary aspect of the website, which also now has a frequently asked questions section, which hopefully will answer any of the queries you do have. Failing that, if there is something that you have to ask but is not answered in that area, then please email transition@samuelryderacademy.co.uk, and one of my team will be back with you as soon as possible. I will say to you that this account is live until the last day of the summer term, which is Friday the 17th, and then from September the 1st, your first port of call communication should be with your child's form tutor or admin at Samuel Ryder Academy. Thanks for listening. Really look forward to welcoming you all in September. Take care.